I'm going to hit my empty projects, and this is the first thing that comes up, is you choose what type of track that you want. And essentially we're looking at these top two, either a software instrument or an audio. Now a software instrument is essentially a MIDI track, and it's one that you would use your keyboards for. And audio is where you would use your audio interface to plug in your guitar, your electric guitar, your bass guitar, your vocals, and that's an audio track. I'm going to start with the software instrument one. And here we go. It automatically comes up with an electric piano, but obviously I can change that. That's the wonderful thing about these software instruments, is I can change this just as a click of a mouse, and it will completely change the sound, which is really good. But what we're doing is we're looking at Apple loops. Now, what Apple loops are is they're a selection of royalty-free loops that you can use in your compositions. What royalty-free means is that you are perfectly entitled to use them. You could use them in a track, you can sell that track, and Apple are not going to track you down and sue you. Which is really, really useful. It's great for coming up with some nice new compositions, particularly if you're new to Logic. So where Apple loops are is they are up here in the top right hand corner, and you see the button that looks like a loop-the-loop. Just click on that and your Apple loops will come up. When I say there are a lot of Apple loops, there are an awful lot of Apple loops. Actually, there we go, yes, 6,700 Apple loops. One thing to note is some of them are still greyed out here. That means that Logic's still downloading them all, because again, with 6,700 items, it's gigs and gigs and gigs. It will take a little while for them to download. But some of them are up here already, so we can make a start. So, to hear the Apple loops, just click on them. As you can see, we've got drum kits, got piano there, got bass. To stop them, just click them again. Now the next thing to notice is this little square up here. As you can see, some of them are green, and that's a software instrument loop, and some of them are blue, and that's an audio loop. You need to have a different channel for the software instruments and one for the audio loops. So we've already had the software instrument one, which means this green one, I can drag it straight in and it would work absolutely fine. But I want to create an audio channel as well. The way I create new channels is I go up here and I go to my little plus button, which will add a new track. When I click on that, I can choose if I want a software instrument or an audio channel. So I've already got my software instrument one, so I'm going to add an audio track. So I just click on that. Not worrying about any of this for now, I'm just going to hit create. There is our audio track. And now I can drag any of these in and I can start creating my own song. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get some drums in. So if I go to the search here and I type in drums or drum, let's try drums. Here they do, and they just come up with all the drums. And you can click through them. Find one that you like. Actually, I quite like that one. Once you found it, all you do is click and drag over to your channel. It won't go up here on my software instrument one, but it will go down here on my audio one. Once that's there it is. And you can see it's an audio file. If I zoom in using this dial here with the two across arrows, you can see the actual waveforms there as I zoom in. So there's a couple of ways if you want to create a few of those. So the first thing I can do is I can just simply go back to my Apple loops. I can drag the next one in, drag them in like that. The next thing I can do is I can use a copy and paste, much like how you would with Microsoft Word. So I'd highlight one of them and I would hit Command C for copy, go to where I want it to paste, just make sure that I'm on the right channel. So I'm not on that one, I'm on this one here. And then I'm going to go to paste, or Command V. The other way you can do it is you can go to edit, and you see we've got copy and paste just here. Command C and Command V, they're good tools to know so you can get this done quickly. So now I've got my drum loop, and again I can just bring my track down to the beginning. Oh, you can press spacebar to play. You can play up here, or you can just push the spacebar. There's my drum beat. So the next thing I'm going to want is I'm going to want bass. So let's put in a bass line as well. So I'm just going to type in bass, and let's see what we've got. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Blue song? No. No. Sometimes it can take a little while to find the right. Definitely not that one. It can take a little while to find the right one. Let's go for this one. Now, I look over here and I can see this is an audio loop. Obviously, I've got the drums already going off on this audio channel, so I need to create another new channel. So I'm going to hit my plus, create another audio track, hit create. Here we go. And then I'm just going to drag in my chosen bass line. And again, I probably want to loop that up, so I'm going to highlight it, Command C for copy. I'm just going to make sure that my locator is at the end where I want it to loop. I'm going to hit paste. And there we go. Now, when I play it, it's going to play both of them. There we go. So one thing to note is the key that something's in. Now this one's in the key of E. So when I look for another instrument, I really want something else to be in the key of E. So let's look for a guitar. Okay, so if we have a look, here's some that's in E, so let's try this one. Wow. Maybe not. Let's try some of these. Kind of want something with chords. Because the bass line's already playing in individual note, that will actually probably sound quite good. So again, I need to set up a new audio channel. I can see this is blue, so it's an audio channel. So I'm going to go to my plus, select audio, and again drag it in. Once you've got all your instruments that you want, the next is arranging it, the next thing to do. So you may want to start with the drums or the bass, and you may want to slowly build up tracks. Remember the rule, the multiples of 4. You should be looking for things that are going to be 4 bars or 8 bars, and then it will change. 16 bars and it will change. It's got to be a multiple of 4. Let's just have a listen to how this sounds. Actually sounds pretty good. So that's your next thing, is to create a track using Apple Loops.